How dare you mess up once? That's what it feels like. It especially felt that way when I was in an agency. Actually, I wanted to ask you guys about that. Well, actually, I guess maybe I should make like a poll or something and ask like the general Frobble community. But I wanted to ask because for a little while I was trying to avoid any mention of, like, I was trying to avoid talking about like my past life in an agency because I know not all Frobbles were there for that and they might feel left out if I talked about it too much.
Thank you.
But in a recent member stream, I was talking about it a little bit, and I realized, like, well, it's such an important part of my creator journey that I wonder if it's a bit unrealistic to expect it to never come up. So I wanted to, like, ask Frobbles, like, how do you feel about it? Do you prefer that I'm a bit more open about it? Because I'm allowed to talk about it. It was publicly announced, like, okay, this agency VTuber is graduating, and this is where they're going. So, like, I can talk about it. I was trying to keep Frobbles, like, in mind, but I guess I wanted to ask, like, do Frobbles mind if I talk about it? I was actually thinking about it, too. It's like, if Frobbles do know about it, like, then they can choose to go check that out. Check out that chapter of my creator journey if they wanted to. Whereas if I don't talk about it, they might not realize what that was. Maybe that would leave them feeling left out. And I don't want them to feel left out, so, you know, like, I was thinking about it, I'm like, oh, here's this other angle I hadn't considered before. So I wanted to ask Frobbles. No idea, no problem. I don't know, I didn't want to make any Frobbles feel, like, left out or anything if I did talk about it. But maybe it is better. Better enough, I didn't know it was okay to mention a past life of yours before a meteor hit. I didn't know if it was okay to even reference it. I didn't know your preferences on that. I don't mind if Frobbles talk about it. For me, I myself was trying to avoid speaking about it for, like, the reason I just said. But, like, again, I was thinking about it, and maybe I want to leave it up to Frobbles, I think. So I'll probably do, like, a poll. As long as you don't get doxed or support, I hear you out. Well, talking about my past life's not gonna do that. Yeah. So, as long as Frobbles are, like, okay with it and stuff and chill, then we can talk about it. Yeah, you should talk about whatever's on your mind. The more comfortable you feel in your stream, the better the atmosphere. You think so? Yeah. Well, actually, you know, I guess, like, now that you mentioned that, it kind of makes me think. It probably is really obvious when something does make me uncomfortable. I always try my best not to let stuff bother me on stream. Because it does make for a more fun stream atmosphere when things are chill and laid back. I agree. So I try not to be bothered by stuff on stream, but I guess if it does happen, if something does happen, I guess it might be pretty obvious. I've always had people tell me that I'm an open book with my emotions, and you can tell what I'm thinking. I don't hide it very well. You can tell what I'm thinking and tell how I'm feeling. You know? As long as you don't talk about NDA stuff. Well, of course, yeah. I wouldn't talk about, like, any, like, internal company stuff, but just to say who I was and some of the stuff that I did, and, like, that's okay.
For Frank. Thank you.
You know? Only recently got into VTubers, found you through the algo. Past life is just more content to watch, in my opinion. This is true, yeah. A lot of VTubers, aren't usually allowed to talk about their past lives when they come from companies, because of NDAs and stuff, but mine made an exception, and it was, like, publicly announced, so it's, like, okay for me to discuss it. Oh yeah, I guess I was talking about it. Yeah, actually, I have talked about this recently in the member stream as well, but I remember, when I was in a company, I was a part of Pixel. Yeah, so you can find my past life there. And when I was in a company, it was especially hard with making mistakes and stuff because I felt like an immense pressure to be, like, the perfect agency talent. Not from management. Management didn't pressure me to never make mistakes. Actually, management was the opposite. If I made mistakes, they would often tell me, like, well, you didn't mean any harm by it, and as long as you try not to repeat it, it's okay, don't worry about it. And I would be over here like, no, you must regret hiring me. And they were like, nah, don't worry about it. But like, with being the face of a company, like, you represent that company, so if you do make mistakes, you know, it can reflect on the company. And like, that's where, like, I think sometimes I honestly made mistakes because of trying to avoid making them, if that made sense. I was trying my best to be myself, but also be suitable for an agency environment, and it was a lot of pressure. Like, I honestly think just from that reason alone, I don't know if I'd ever join another agency. Like, it feels nice to know, like, now if I do make a mistake, it only reflects on me. It doesn't reflect bad on a company. I don't have to worry about someone else's livelihood being in my hands because I messed up, or like, you know, I said something weird one time, you know. Hire me at your own peril. I wouldn't word it like that. Who is Rebbi before the Reb? A certain dinosaur from a certain pixel link. Yeah, everything you do may fall on the company too. Yeah, and I remember, like, in my generation, there were some other girls that had prior agency experience, and I was here like, no, that was my first agency experience, and I felt a little out of place, but I wanted to do my very, very best. So when I did make a mistake, I took it very, very hard, because it meant a lot to me to have the chance to be there. Just join a company where you'd be the most normal. Well, I think there are some other companies that, like, based on some of the talents there already, I probably would be a good fit. But then that also comes down to, like, I like being Rebbi. I don't really want to give up my IP to be someone new. And I think the number of agencies that will let you join and let you keep your IP if you ever did want to leave, or if the company closed, are very few. We've had a lot of places shut down, you know? There's not as many as there used to be. Which I guess, like, the ones left now would be the ones that are really good. You know? Or good enough to be surviving the business scene right now, you know? So, basically, though, just saying, I think the places that are available now, there's not very many that would accommodate everything that I would want for myself in my career now. And that is okay. But that's just like, you know, I would have to make a choice. Do I want to give up some of the things I really like about being indie? Or do I want to just be indie? And I've honestly, like, even if I did find a place that would accommodate everything I want, again, it would still come with that immense pressure to be perfect. And I think I'm honestly better at being chill when that pressure is just not there. You know? From what I've seen around, agencies seem best to get a kickstart in popularity and then take it to indie for full creative freedom, but you don't have to struggle to get funds and people from scratch. Yeah, it does help. Yeah, honestly, I'm of the opinion that being indie is like the best thing that you could do. I mean, the agency that I was in, it was really great. I really did love being there, so don't get me wrong. It was a great environment. I truly believe that I had the chance to be in one of the best places. And it was really nice, and everyone there was really nice. But I also think after having that experience for myself and then having the chance to go back and be indie again, I do think being indie is best for me, personally. I feel more comfortable now. I feel like I can be myself. That pressure to be perfect's not there anymore. And I honestly feel like I've made fewer mistakes, I think. You know? Well, I mean, like, I'm being an indie as well. I can do anything I want, but, like, being in an agency, especially depending on, like, the norms of the agency already, it can come with expectations that, like, I wasn't quite ready for. Even just, like, little things. Like my agency did, like, Mara threads. I still do the Mara threads. And although I've not been super great about checking the Mara thread, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I've not been great with the Mara threads. Did I even remember to make a new one for this week? I can't remember. I've not been good with the Maros. I'm sorry about that. I want to be better about it. But I started doing that as a part of, like, joining my previous agency. And I did not understand how they worked at first. Like, the way they're supposed to work is you make a new thread every week and you just check on the morals to see if anyone sent them in. The way I thought they worked was anytime I felt like answering them, I'd make a new moral thread and I could go weeks without having one, and then I could have more than one in a week. I didn't understand because nobody told me. I wasn't really in an environment where they were used before then, so I didn't understand. Yeah. But Rebbi, you are perfect. I really don't think I'm perfect. I mean, I appreciate that Frobbles love me, but I know I have faults, and sometimes I do mess up. And I appreciate having the room to be allowed to mess up, so I can like learn from it. You know, you guys have been very forgiving. If we have like, you know, like sometimes I don't always understand what a chatter is meaning to say. Sometimes I don't get that they're being sarcastic, and when they explain that they are. And I'm like, oh, I feel a little embarrassed, and I apologize. And you guys give me the space and room to like make that mistake, right? And then I can try to be better in the future, you know? I appreciate having that. But like, you know, I don't know. I just feel like I just feel like it's inaccurate to say that I'm perfect. I very much am not. But that doesn't mean that I feel bad about it either, because I think I'm doing an okay job. And I like myself and I want to improve, so honestly, Frobbles being so supportive of me really helps me feel encouraged to try to improve and to be better, you know? Like, I don't have to feel scared about messing up. I don't have to feel scared over every misstep like I did before. And it's really, really, really nice. I feel so free, like, you know, I just feel so much more comfortable. I really appreciate that. Sorry, this guy's just listening to me talk.
The Imperial Watch.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Singing is crap. Gay frogs, friggin' frogs. It's not funny. I'm gonna say real stuff for you. Gay frogs.
Oh, I found it.
Won't you fight for your life? Gay frogs, friggin' frogs. I don't like the frogs. Gay friggin' frogs. Whack, 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 frogs. Friggin' frog, frogs. Won't you fight the frogs? It's not funny. I'm gonna say real fun for you.
You could have